Project governance or administration refers to the framework, functions, and processes that guide project management activities in order to create a unique product, service, or result to meet organizational, strategic, and operational goals. There is no one governance framework that is effective in all organizations. A governance framework should be tailored to the organizational culture, types of the project, and needs of the organization in order to be effective. Sorry, excuse me. Okay, so project administration or project governance has to do with the standards that need to be put to ensure the administrative processes that need to be put in place to ensure that project goals are achieved at the end of the day. And just like said here, no one framework is for all. It's not a one size fit all kind of approach. Every organization needs to find their own tailor-made governance structure to suit their organization. Some organizations have complex governance structures, some have simple governance structure, some have hybrid governance structure. The most important thing is that whichever governance structure you're bringing, it should be able to give you your end result at the end of the day. All right? Okay. Now, when you are creating a governance structure, one of the things you need to consider is what we call the management elements. The management elements. They are the components that comprise the key functions or principles of general management in the organization. The general management elements are located within the organization according to each governance framework and organizational structure type that's been selected. Now, when we look at the management elements, I'll begin to look at the components that drive the key functions or that perform the key functions or principles within the organization. So if you look at number one, organizational structure, look at another one, roles and responsibilities, and then you look at culture and all of those things, management, culture, and all this coming together, they will help you in having standards for your work, okay, as an organization. Now, the key functions or principles of management element include, but are not limited to, division of work using specialized skills and availability to perform work, authority given to perform work, responsibility to perform work appropriately assigned based on such attributes as skills and experience, then discipline of action like respect for authority, people, and rules. They have unity of command, unity of direction, general goals of the organization take precedence over individual goals, and then we have paid fairly for work performed. These are general management principles that we have in organizations as well as project structures, in business as well as project structures, rather. Now, still on the key functions, we have optimal use of resources, clear communication channels, right materials to the right persons for right job at the right time, fair and equal treatment of people in the workplace, clear security of work positions, safety of people in the workplace, open contribution to planning and execution by each person, and they will have optimal morale. Now, all of these things need to be in place for your project team to work effectively. Okay, all of these things need to be considered and put in place for your project team to work effectively. Now, quickly, we'll look at the organizational influences that could affect projects as part of project governance. Now, basically, we look at the systems, we look at the cultures, we look at the styles, and we look at the structures. So projects are typically affected by these things: the systems within the organization, the culture within the organization, the styles within the organization, and the structures within the organization. All of these are the things that make up the governance framework. At the same time, they affect the project. It can be positive, it can be negative. Now, looking at organizational culture types, determination of the appropriate organizational structure type is a result of the study of trade-offs between two key variables. The variables are organizational structure types available for use and how to optimize them for a given organization. So you have organizational structure types available, and then you now have to determine how to optimize them for given organization. So if you mismatch organizational type with organizational structures, it could result to project failures or have negative effect on projects. Now, there is not a one-size-fits-all structure for any given organization. The final structure for a given organization is unique due to the numerous variables to be considered within and without the organization when doing so. Right. Factors in organizational structure selection: you have degree of alignment with organizational objectives, specialization capabilities, span of control, efficiency and effectiveness, clear path for escalation of decisions, clear line and scope of authority, delegation capabilities, accountability assignment, and responsibility assignment. All of these things are the things and even more that we consider in selecting a particular organizational structure. So it's not just to wake up and start drawing diagrams and say board of directors, executive director or president, then you have admin, finance, and all of that. No, you must make sure that the structure you're bringing in is in tandem with your organizational goals. Now, I may not want to dwell so much here, but in case you have the opportunity to expand on this, maybe taking a course in HR or organizational design or reading up organizational design, that will help you in giving you a good idea. Now, for those of us that are private companies, maybe you have a network of three to five staff or 1 to 5 staff. Even if you have only 1 staff, you need to have an organizational structure in place. So many of us have done businesses for years and there is no structure in place. So many of us have done businesses in years and there is no structure in place. Now, what I'm going to say might not really sound good to anyone in that category, but if you are doing business without a structure, you don't have any difference between you and an agbero. In Nigeria, what we call the agbero. Agbero doesn't need structure to run because he doesn't even have any sustainability or succession plan in place. Okay, so but if you're futuristic enough, if you are strategic enough, if you think sustainability, if you think succession, then you need to sit down and ask yourself, what is your organizational structure? Do you know one of the reasons why we have organizational structure is that when you want to recruit, you know which office you want to recruit into. So even if it's only you in that office, you need to sit down and draft an organizational structure. If you don't know how to go about it, you can get a consultant who can help you, who will look at your business goals and objectives, look at the strategic plans you have set for your organization, and then help you profile a working structure. It mustn't be complex, it can be as simple as, okay, and then as you grow, you can then review it. Okay, very, very important. As simple as this is, it can affect a business positively or negatively. Some of us run a kind of business that, but you have structure drawn in your profile, but by the working of the business, it is a me, myself, and I kind of business. You are the decision maker. You are the idea bringer. You are the decision maker. You are the brainstormer yourself, and everything is on you. There is nothing wrong with that, but you cannot just remain like that, because you just have wear and tear at the end of the day. By the time you start going to 50, 60, 70, in fact that there was no difference between the person in such category and an agro. There is nothing to hold on to, nothing to give hand over to the next generation. Okay, but when you have a structure, even if you want to work alone for now, but you have a structure and you have a good intention with that structure, it is easy for you to begin to groom people who will fit into different positions as you grow. And then another important thing about structure is that there is a level you get to in business that people will not deal with you except you show them a workable structure. Except you show them a workable structure, something that is really working. You cannot be the only one sharing the liability of a company. Okay, you cannot be the only one sharing the liability of a company. Recently, a company called me to consult for them. And one of the things I needed to do was restructuring of the company. Part of the restructuring was to get an organizational structure for the organization. And then I found out that this company had gone to CAC based on the fact that they were a government consulting, they were a government contracting firm, right? Let me use that word because I cannot say consulting. They contract or they run government contracts, right? Now this person somehow went and upgraded the share capital. I think he upgraded the share capital either 5 million or 10 million, just to show that yes, this company has enough liability in case of risk, enough to deal with it. But by working, it was just me, myself, and I kind of business. And we had to start afresh and restructured everything and started recruiting people to fit into those positions. Okay, that's how it works. So organizational structure is very, very important in case you've never paid attention to it. If you don't have an organizational structure, you just die for nothing. Every day you'll be stressed. You wake up stressed, you work all through the day stressed, and then you return home stressed. Okay, when there could be a little disperse of work, and then you get free. Okay, and it's also important for us to note that organizational structure is part of our OPA. Organizational structure is part of our OPA. Organizational structure is part of our OPA. So the stronger the structure, the more competent the organization is perceived to be. Okay, the stronger the structure, the stronger or the more competent the organization is perceived to be. So it's very, very important we pay attention to that. So in case you don't have anyone, please get one today. Think it through. Check out some templates online, or you could consult a consultant. Other factors in organizational structure selection: adaptability of design, simplicity of design. It mustn't be complex. Efficiency of the performance. Yes, the structure you're bringing in will literally give the result that you're looking at. For then cost considerations. If you make it complex, you might end up paying two people to do the same work. So make it as simple as possible. Then with time, you can expand, but let the expansion be as a result of need. All right. There are physical locations, clear communication, and all of those things. Clear communication of the policy, status of work, and organization's vision. Now, I have what we call the organizational systems. The organizational system, like I said, culture, structure, systems. These are all of the things that make up the administrative framework that can affect the project positively or negatively. Now, under the systems, we have what we call the project-based systems and the non-project-based systems. For the project-based system, they derive revenues from performing projects for others. Okay. So by managing project for others, they derive revenue. That's a system that is project based. The more we run business project for others, we derive revenue. All right. That's project based. Then you have the non project based. The non project based seldom have management system designed to support project needs. So examples of non-project based, you have things like manufacturing, financial services. Some of them might not be project based. Uh, the, 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 the management systems are not designed to provide or to support project needs. Okay, so we call those ones non-project based systems. So when you have a system that every day you are always looking for, or every day you are on one project or the other, doing project for businesses or other people for revenue purposes, that is a project-based organization. Then we have those that render services like operations. Okay, they render services like operations, right? And it is those operations that give them revenue. For instance, going to the bank, depositing your money, withdrawing your money, those kind of services give the company revenue, but they are not projects. Then you have manufacturing. Every day you go produce pure water, sales of pure water, sales of shoes, sales of this. You produce them every day. Okay, they are not project based, but they are operations like, so they give you revenue. All right. So when you are selecting a structure for organization, they also have to consider your organization. Is it a project-based organization, or is it a service or non-project-based organization? If it's a project-based organization, the structure will definitely be different from that of a non-project-based organization. So these are some of the things we will put into consideration in the administrative framework or governance framework of projects. Then we have the organizational cultures and styles. The organizational cultures and styles. Organizational cultures and styles are reflected in shared values, norms, beliefs, expectations, policies, procedures, authority relationship, and so on. Okay, for example, project manager with a highly participative style is likely to encounter problems in a rigidly hierarchical organization, while a project manager with an authoritarian style will be equally challenged in a participative organization. The governor was trying to share an experience about his company this morning. Basically, what he was trying to tell us about his company is just a question of structure. Okay, just a question of structure. All right, so there are certain ways things have been structured to work. They don't just wake up and start bringing in things. There are things that you have to follow, or structures you have to follow to make sure that whatever thing you're communicating gets to the right people. Okay, so cultures and styles have a very great effect in governance of projects. Now, I think the organization I was sharing with, I was consulting for, I think one of the cultures and styles, yes, there was no structure, yeah, but indirectly, the value system, the norms, the belief system, the expectations of the CEO formed the culture and style of leadership. Obviously, is the CEO, so this culture, his beliefs, his norms formed the uh, the corporate culture. And when I was discussing with the staff, they were sharing some of the things that they felt was challenging. They say, one, the CEO doesn't listen to us. Two, the CEO wants us to do exactly what he says, whether it is good or not, just do it. Three, when you do it and it's no longer good, he condemns you, condemns your whatsoever. Okay, and then we found out that it was a sort of non-participative kind of leadership. And we decided, okay, why not try a liberal and democratic kind of leadership? Let's let the people do. Let's give them what they need to do. Let's allow them to use their own ingenuity and creativity to work. and it has been wonderful for them. Okay, their manager was telling me that, wow, it has really been wonderful. Things are changing and customers are getting happier with the work that they are doing. And that is good. Okay, so cultures and styles, if not well managed, can result to project failures. Then talking about structures, again, we have the functional, we have the projectized, and we have the matrix structure, just to represent them. Now, in a functional structure, you find that more of what we have, you have structures where we use more of the office title as the description of that particular role. So, for example, you see what we have here. You have chief executive, then you have functional manager. So this could be marketing manager, HR manager, and finance manager. So instead of saying administrative, finance, and accounts, and maybe operations, we'll say no. We'll call them marketing manager, finance manager, and operations manager. And in this particular kind of work, in this particular kind of structure, the functional department, or perhaps the functional managers, get to become the ones coordinating the project, not the staff. Okay, so the power here lies more on the project functional managers rather than the staff. Okay, not even on the project manager. Okay, all right, I'm seeing a hand up. Please kindly unmute. Let's hear from you.
Sorry, Dr. Benito. I just want to find out, you're not sharing your screen. Is it deliberate? The only thing we've been seeing is lecture 2, project administration, stroke governance. That's the only thing we are seeing.
I'm seeing something different too. I've been sharing my screen, not this way.
We're just seeing other things now on the screen.
Yeah, thank you for coming. The eyes of your understanding was covered. Now it has opened. Light has come. Okay, sorry about that. Seriously, I was not involved. Please.
Right from the beginning, we are just seeing your screen. We are just seeing this now. You've not shared. You've only shared the topic and nothing more.
Chai. PRO, please always please check that you even wrote to me. I didn't see. I've even seen many things that were written, though I didn't see, seriously. Okay, sorry about that. But I think those things are just basic. We'll have them all in the slide. It will be shared in our manuals, and then we can review them. Okay, so I was trying to say for the organizational structures, we have the functional, the projectized, and the matrix. Where the functional, okay, like you see some structures, organizational structures, instead of using the function of the organization or the function of the office to define the structure, they now use the position. Okay, the position for a case like what we have there. You have functional manager, functional manager, functional manager. It could be marketing manager, admin manager, operations manager. Okay, in that case, this functional organization is telling us that more of the work is done, coordination is done more by the functional managers rather than everyone. So the coordination of project is within the functional managers. Okay, that's what it's trying to tell us here. And then you have the next one where you have the projectized structure, and this is the one that most of us are advocating for. Okay, the one that most of us are advocating for. You see a difference between DICS and DICS. One of the differences you could basically see is that here administrative work is done at high level. That's at the functional level, is done basically at high level. The staff are not really involved. Okay, so it's more of we push what you need to do and you do it. Okay, we push what you need to do and you do it. Okay, that's what it looks like. But in the projectized structure, you see that everyone is responsible. The project manager is there, and this project manager, if the project we are doing is in the marketing department, the marketing manager automatically becomes the one in charge. If it is under HR, the HR automatically become, but everyone in that department, everyone in that organization, with respect to that particular project in their own specialties, need to be involved. So it's a teamwork at all levels, from the low level up to the high level. Everyone is involved. Let's get everyone's view. All right. Then you have the hybrid structure where you have a blend of a structure where it mustn't be, the leadership mustn't be from the top. It can be from among the staff. Okay, it can be from among the staff. All right. And then among the staff from different units coming together to carry on the project. Okay. All right. Now, another part of project governance is what we call the project management office, which is an organizational structure that standardizes the project-related governance processes and facilitates the sharing of resources, methodologies, tools, and techniques. The responsibilities of a PMO can range from providing project management support functions to the direct management of one or more projects. So while the project manager is all out in the field trying to make sure that the project is done, initiating, designing, implementing projects, the project management office is actually responsible, like back-end office where project support is provided. So if you need money, if you need materials, if you need procurement, it is the project management office that does that. The monitor and evaluation also is being done through the project management office. So the project management office is like the administrative board, where the administrative board that supervises projects. Okay, so the project management officer is accountable to the project management office. Okay, while the project management office is responsible to ensure that the things that have been stated in the plans, project plans, that the project manager and his team or her team carries them out to the latter. All right. Now, we have the types of PMO. We have the supportive PMO, just like their names are. You have the supportive PMO. They provide a consultative role to projects by supplying templates, best practice training, access to information, and lessons learned from the other project. This type of PMO serves as a project repository. The degree of control provided by the PMO is low. Then you have the controlling PMO, which provides support and require compliance through various means. The degree of control provided by the PMO is moderate. Compliance may involve adoption of a project management framework or methodologies, use of specific templates, forms, and tools. And then you have conformance to government governance frameworks. Then you have the directive PMO. The directive PMOs take control of the project by directing or by directly managing the project. Okay, so this is where we have a case of the functional managers now. So the functional managers, they take up the project and they manage it themselves. Okay. Projects managers are assigned by and report to PMO. The degree of control provided by the PMO is high. Okay. A PMO may have the authority to act as an integral stakeholder and a key decision maker throughout the life of each project in order to keep it aligned with business objectives. The PMO may make recommendations, lead knowledge transfer, terminate projects, and take other actions as required. So as we grow in our project work, most often you come in as an associate project manager in your career, or they bring you in as a programs manager, something like that. And then as you grow with experience, as you advance with experience, they will now drive you to PMO, just to ensure that you provide the necessary guidance, support to the project team to deliver results. The truth is, some of us by this time, we are supposed to be PMOs, not project managers. Okay? We are supposed to be providing the necessary support to the project managers who are carrying out the project. Okay. A primary function of a PMO is to support project managers in a variety of ways, which may include but are not limited to managing shared resources across all projects administered by the PMO, identifying and developing project management methodology, best practices and standards, coaching, mentoring, training, and oversight, monitoring compliance with project management standard policies, procedures, and templates by means of project audits. Developing and managing project policies, procedures, templates, and other shared documentations, and coordinating communication across projects. All of these are considered important functions of the PMO. All right. Now, before I proceed, is there any question for me? I hope you're still seeing my screen. Any question for me? Any contribution? Is there something you would like to share? Okay, so in the presence of no present question, let's quickly move ahead. Key general management skills. General management skills provide much of the foundation for building project management skills. They are often essential for the project manager. On any given project, a number of management skills may be required. I think we need to discuss this. What are the management skills that a project stakeholder, what are the management skills a project stakeholder need to have, a project manager? The project management team, what are the skills they are expected to have? Let's discuss this in 3 minutes. What are the skills they are expected to have? Everyone give us 1 point. We are about 11 in number. Okay, 12. So everyone give us 1 so that we can proceed very fast. If you were to be a project manager, what would you consider the key management skills? Okay, someone said good communication skills. Thank you so much, Akintayo. Please, next person. Communication skills. Communication skills. Next person. Oh, let's be fast now. Self-management and leadership skills. Okay, awesome. So leadership skills. Next person. Good supporting skills. Thank you. Analytic skills. Thank you. Statistical skills. Thank you. Any other one? Conflict resolution skills. Thank you. Okay, so there are quite a number of skills the project manager needs. Okay, so let's look at team building skills. Thank you. Ability to work under stress, change management skills. I love that. Documentation skills. Good. Okay, so let's see what we have here. Now that we already know them. You know, when it comes to skills, it's easy to mention skills than practice them. It's easy to mention skills than practice them. We asked a question in the first class that why is it that we know so many and then when it comes to practice, we do little? We're able to establish some reasons why we know, but we don't do. In project management, you must know and do. That's one of the things that makes us different. You must learn and you must work yourself consciously into it. You must work yourself consciously into improving your skills, practicing your skills, and then evaluating the impact of your skills. Okay. If you say good communication skills is needed for project management, and then maybe last week you had a fallout with one of your staff, that means that particular skill may be lacking. And then you said good, this, I always tell my people, all of these skills you are mentioning now, if we start giving a record, let's say a scorecard I'll start taking records. Everybody here could score at least above average for these skills. That's by by personal reporting, but by activity or expression of these skills, there are simple ways we can find out. If you say you are a good project manager and you say you have good communication skill, good self-management and leadership, question number one, for those of us that are married, when was the last time you had an argument with your wife? Now, okay. I don't want to go higher, but when was the last time you had an argument with your wife? So you had an argument with your wife today. Now go and review your skill. Go and review your self-management and leadership skill. Go and review your communication skill. Okay, these are some of the things basically we should use to find out. You know, just a little digression. Some of us pay attention to these skills as it applies to work rather than as it applies to our personal lives. Okay. Some of us pay very good attention to work. How do we talk to customers so that it comes in? But have you ever asked yourself, how do you talk to your wife so that there will be no quarrel again? How do you talk to your husband so that he doesn't misunderstand you? How do you talk to your mom, to your dad, to your siblings, and they will still understand you perfectly without any loggerheads? These are simple truths we can use to find out all of these skills we are saying we have. Do we really have them? Okay. And you say you have strong analytical skill. If I say this, it might sound like there is no pride in what I'm saying now, right? But I'm just saying a simple, let's do simple analysis. You have strong analytical tool, yet you cannot provide for your family. You have not been able to find out why you don't have enough for your family. There's a problem. You are not really, you don't have strong analytical tool. For the past 2-3 years, your income has remained the same, and you say you have strong analytical tool. Brother, I think you need to review that skill, because if you really have strong analytical skill, the end result will be that you solve problems often. And if you solve problems often and you really solve the problem, people will be recommending you as a problem solver, and then your impact will increase, and then your benefits will also increase. So there are simple things we can use to find out whether all of these things we are talking about, whether we are really practicing them on personal basis or we are just looking for an opportunity. You don't need to look for an opportunity. The opportunities are there every day. The opportunities are there every day. Okay, the opportunities are there every day. All right. So for project managers, charity begins at home. For any other person, charity can begin from the office. But for us, we must realize that our lives, our homes are the first project. Then every other thing is the secondary. If any other profession decide to reverse that, that's their own case. But for us in project management, it is emotional intelligence first from home before we start going to the office or before we start going to work. Very, very important. All right. Okay. So review your skill. I just remember something now. Was it early this year or so, or last year? We're having a class, and we had some staff from CBN. They are one of the staff was one of their managers. Okay, and then I was saying things in digression, just like what I'm saying now. I didn't know the man was taking what I was saying serious. Okay. So he finished that course. He did 3 courses in a row, like in about 3 months or so. He did about 3 courses. So he did 3 of them in a row. And then the next diet, he now brought his wife. So I was wondering what could have led him to go and bring his wife. So both of them took similar courses. Okay, the wife took health, safety and environment, and emotional intelligence. The man took emotional intelligence, executive leadership development, project management, and I think I took global human resource management also, or safety. Then after a while, I think that course was last year, so it was this year he was telling me that experience. He said that since they finished taking emotional intelligence course, that there have been no quarrel in their house again. I'm like, are you serious? So you people had, he said, yes, when he finished, he had to go and bring his wife so that this problem of every day or once in a while you lock hands together. He said now he can't even afford to quarrel with his wife, and then the wife does not even like the stress of the need for quarrel is no longer there. So it started from the home, and then they are extending it to their office. He called to tell us, okay, is it possible to now organize this training for our directors in the CBN office? What are we here for? Is it not what we do? If you want us to train presidential office, is it not what we do? But where I'm going to is that we need to have simple templates within us that we don't need to download anything. There are things we do. We can use to ascertain whether these skills, we are really practicing them, both consciously and unconsciously, or we're just waiting for when an opportunity will come, then we'll start speaking and aligning our English in order to make it grammatically correct. No. Okay. If a project manager, it must show every day of your life in everything that you do. Okay. Very important. If what I said made sense to someone, type 11 in the chat room. If what I said did not make sense to anybody, just type 00 so that we'll proceed. For those of us that are not married, congratulations, because you will build a better foundation, a better management skills foundation. Okay. Somebody, I was in a meeting the other day and someone said something and the thing struck me. The man said, how can you say you are a management professional or management consultant? You're managing others and you cannot manage yourself. How can you claim to be a management consultant? You're managing estates, you're managing land for people, you're managing businesses for people. You're paying a rent of more than 1 million and riding a car of more than 5 million, yet you don't have a plot of land. So what exactly are you managing? What can we see within you to show that really you're a manager? Did you get the question? You say you're a management consultant, like some of us after this class, like I said, it's not about the certificate, but after this class, we must put it there. After your name, you now start putting CAPMP or CLPMP. Well, that's good. But we must see the effects. What are the evidences around your life to show that yes, this person is a project manager by his own investment and activities? I can be able to trust to give him my own. Okay, check your balance sheet. Just check your balance sheet. That will tell you whether you're a project manager or not. If you have a car that is worth at least up to 3 million and you're paying a rent that you can use to buy a plot of land, and you've been doing this consecutively for years, my brother, my sister, you need to return. You have strayed from the profession. You need to return, and you need to confess your sins so that you'll be forgiven and rebaptized as a management consultant or as a manager. Okay, the one that is even running in Abuja or Lagos, that's the one that makes me laugh. You entered Abuja, you were staying in Maraba, and then you got one contract or got one appointment. All of a sudden, you moved to Kubwa, and then from Kubwa you got a little bigger. You now move to Mabuchi. From Mabuchi you move to Gariki. From Gariki you move to Jahi, or perhaps you move to Life Camp. From Life Camp you move to Asokoro. From Asokoro you move to okay. From Jahi you move to Barepa. From Barepa you move to your target is that you want to stay in Maitama. You want to stay, you want to pay, others are paying maybe 750,000 for 2-bedroom flat in Kuba, or let's say 1 million for 2-bedroom flat in Kuba. You want to pay 10 million or 20 million for boys' quarter in Maitama, just to answer that you are in Maitama, and then you go and buy one car, Range Rover Sport, latest edition, HAC edition, latest edition, and then check your balance sheet. It's all about there is nothing to hand over. Fact, if you're in that category, please lay your hand on your head and confess your sins. We'll forgive you, and then we'll draft you back. If you are staying in a place where you have to have sleepless night to pay your rent, then there is a problem. There is a problem. You're staying in a place where you need to, you're sending your children to school where you have to have sleepless night to pay their school fees. You're not a manager. So now repent and come back. Repent and come back. Okay. So these are simple things we need to look around our lives and then find all these skills we mentioned. Remember, all these skills are wonderful, but they must be evident in our lives. Okay, we shouldn't just use it to help others. What of our own lives? Okay, it should be evident in our lives too. Okay, it should be evident in our lives. Very, very important. Okay, so we have leadership, communication, negotiating, problem solving, influencing skills. Okay, and so many others. Now, socioeconomic, environmental influences on projects that can affect the project. We have the standards and regulations, that's compliance and conformance, that could be from government, regulatory bodies, and all of that. Then you have the internationalization, effects of time zones, effects of currencies, effects of culture across boards, effects of languages, and all of that. Then you have cultural influences. Then you also have socio-economic, environmental sustainability influences. Almost every project that is being done now, they will talk about the SDGs. So the project you're bringing, does it, what the outcomes, does it contribute to environmental sustainability? Does it contribute to SDG? I think it was Odekunle this morning that was talking about organic, is it organic agriculture or something like that? Zero hunger and all of that. All of those things are SDG-based goods, which are sustainability-based goods. So when you're carrying out projects, it's often important that we find the underlying sustainability impacts or sustainability goals associated to the project. Very, very important. For those of us in NGO, it's important for us to always keep in mind that no funder will fund a project that does not have sustainability plan or sustainability goals in place. For those that are into NGO, or you run your organization run through sponsorship, project sponsorship or the likes, if there is no sustainability plan, it'll be difficult to get sponsors. It'll be difficult to get sponsors. So when you are scheduling your project to sponsors, it's good you talk about the sustainability of that project. Okay. All right. Now, still on administrative framework, we have what we call the project manager competency framework. So if a project manager, this is expected from you. You need to have technical project management skills, strategic and business management skills, and leadership skills. Technical project management skills, strategic and business management skills, and then leadership skills. All right, so that's very, very important. Right, that's very, very important. All right, okay. So if you look at all of the things we've been discussing, they're all bounding around these three basic competencies. Okay. The technical project management skills are defined as the skills to effectively apply project management knowledge to deliver the desired outcome for programs or projects. Focus on the critical technical project management elements for each project they manage, such as schedule, selected financial report, issue log. Then they develop both traditional and agile tools, techniques, and methods for each project. They make time to plan thoroughly and prioritize diligently. They manage project elements, including but not limited to cost, or perhaps schedule, cost, resources, and risks. They have the strategic and business management skills. I think more of the things we've said has covered more of these things. I want to challenge us. And the challenge is, if you've never had a plan for your existence, please, after today's class, sit down and design a plan for your existence. It's good you know when to die so that you walk towards death rather than walking towards life. Did you get what I just said now? The life cycle of a man say the man must be born, the man must grow, and the man must die. Unfortunately, people don't talk about death. People only talk about living. They just want to alter the life cycle, but it doesn't work that way. You have been born, you have grown, you are working. It's good you plan to die. Okay? When you make out a plan on how to die, then you really live out the remaining days of your life so that when you die, you would have done enough. The mistakes that most people do is that they only plan to live, they don't plan to die, and that's the problem. That's not strategic in any way. That is selfish, that is pessimistic. Someone could think that what I'm saying now has contravened one whatsoever, but the simple truth is there is a life cycle to a man. You were born, you have grown, you will live, and you will die. If you know when to die, it's good you now begin to set out what are the things you want to see before you die. Remember, I just gave you an instance now. Some people's strategic plan is you move from Maraba to Kubwa, to Barimpa, to Life Camp, to Asokuru, to Maitama. You have arrived. That is not the plan. Some other people's strategic plan is today you built your own house. Tomorrow you bought a new car. Next tomorrow you change the car. Another day that's not what we're talking about. I asked myself a question, and I would like us to ask that question. At age 75, you, all of us, at age 75, what will take care of you and who will take care of you? At age 75, will you have what that will take care of you? Will you have who that will take care of you at age 75? That's when you're still working. Now, at age 100, what will take care of you and who will take care of you? If by the mercies of God you live up to 120, what will take care of you and who will take care of you? You need to strategically answer these questions. As a business person, at age 5, what will take care of the business and who will take care of the business? At age 20, as a business, an organization, what will take care of the business and who will take care of the business? At age 50, at age 100, if time tarries, at age 1000, what will take care of the business and who will take care of the business? When you discover what that need to be established, you will live the remaining days to make sure that that what is there before you get to that certain age, that what will begin to take care of you. These are very simple questions that we need to put in place. Very simple questions, be it personal life or business life. We need to put all these things in place. The more we ask the most strategic questions, the more we are even desperate to live out the life. So that when you are living, you will be smiling and living. Smiling and living. So strategically, think it through. What is your plan? And like I said, it's a challenge. It's a challenge. If you don't have a plan yet, please go and have one. The truth is, please note what I'm saying now, it might be a little digression, but it is not in any way a form of motivation to anybody whatsoever. Now, the truth is this. There are so many things in us that we've not really cared about because we've not really sat down to think enough about them. So since we are not really careful about them, with the trigger to let us plan in those directions have not been turned on. For instance, what happened in this class now that I was just busy thinking that I was sharing my slide. Meanwhile, I wasn't sharing my slide. Huh? So I thought I was doing it right, but I wasn't. From my end, it was right, but from the end of sustainability, from the end of impact, from the end of outcome, it wasn't there. And that's what some of us are doing. We are busy engaged in activities without impact, activities without outcome, activities without any durable result. So we just want to make money. Somebody told me that his business, a company called me to consult for them, and I asked them, what is your vision? He said, their vision is to make money. God have mercy. I said, what do you people really do? He said, anything that gives money, that's all we do. We do anything that gives money. Eh? But money on its own, we know, is not sustainable. Okay? Money on its own is not durable. Money on its own is not really what you can hand over and say you've handed something tangible. Okay? So let's sit down and think through these plans. Think through the strategic side of life. Prepare to die. It's good you know the date you die. For me now, I will die by 21/11. When the earth gets to 21/11, that's when I will die. It's just that I don't know the hour. But my wife now pleaded with me to make it up so that I will not die and leave her. I said, okay, no problem. You have to plan out that one now for yourself. But for me, 21/11, I'm expecting to leave. Or I'm expected to leave. Except I will not be here on appointment. Okay, I will not be on earth on appointment. But else, 21/11, I should be leaving. Okay, and thank God I've been able to establish a plan that will outlive me. Even if I die, I can tell my children, okay, this is where we stopped. Or I can tell my business associate, this is where we stop. You can continue from here. Hand over something people can run with. All right? Okay. Hope I'm not getting somebody angry. If you're angry with me, please type 00. If what I'm saying is making sense to you, type 11. Let me be sure now before somebody will say you are leaving project management class and you're talking of another thing. Please, all of these things I'm discussing, they are all project management. Okay, they are personal and corporate project management. All right. All right. Thank you. So strategy management. Strategy management. After you've laid out the plans, your strategy plans and all of that, how do you come up with strategies to get there? Okay, how do you come up with strategies to get there? Sorry, let me say this, but it is not in any way a derogatory statement or what have you. If you have intention to go through this course and then you want to get your certificate and all of that, and at the end of the day, you're unable to get them, it simply means that your strategy wasn't strong enough to help you achieve that. Your strategy wasn't strong enough to help you achieve that. And we have quite a number of people in that field where their strategy cannot give their goals. Their strategy cannot deliver their goals. And let me give you an example. There are some of us that want to go into real estate, but for once, they've never taken a course on real estate. They don't have a single knowledge about real estate. The only thing they know about real estate is that it is the booming business now. That's the only thing they know. Come to knowledge investment is 0. Come to personal development is 0. Network of people that can advise him or her on how to go about the investment is 0. So how then do you want to get there? Okay, so we need to be conscious of the kind of strategy we are using to arrive at our results. We need to be conscious, very, very conscious, very, very conscious. So you need to establish your strategy, your mission, your goals, and your objectives. And then the expected products and services that you want to see at the end of the day. Then also establish your operations, the market and the market conditions, your customers, the state of the market, the time to market factors, and all of those things, your competition. In strategy management, you need to check all of those things. Okay, you need to check all of those things. When it comes to personal life management, your greatest competitor is you, not any person. But when you come to the outside, I will still refer to that the greatest competition that organizations suffer, they are internal, not external. Because if you've ever done a marketing course where they teach you blue ocean strategy, find out that organizations that are really, really after competition, they are ones that have not been able to identify their internal competencies. They've not been able to explore their internal competencies to be able to match the competition. There are companies that don't care about competition because they know the strength that they have within. Anybody that is always running against external competition is just a sure proof that the person doesn't understand his or her capacity and capability, either as an individual or as an organization. Anytime you see yourself getting jealous and greedy over someone else's success or advancement, just know that it is a sure proof that you've not been able to identify your own personal competencies, your own personal relevance. Okay, so we all need to come to that point where we harness, we first of all identify our capabilities and competencies, and then harness those things through effective strategies. Okay, through effective strategies. There is someone in this class that some of the things we are talking about here, just go home and sit down and think them through. You'll be doubling your revenue before this year runs out. You'll be doubling your income before this year runs out. You'll be increasing your network before this year runs out. I'm not just talking about network of irrelevant people, network of relevant people. Okay, network of relevant people. A friend of mine said the acid test to know whether you really have a good network is just start calling your network of friends and tell them, please, I have a challenge. Can I get 10,000 from you? Can I get 10? If you have 20 friends, just call all of them. And then you will know whether you are really, the formation you have, is it a winning formation? Are they relying on you or are you relying on them? Or both of you are working in synergy to get results? I'll repeat that again. The network of people you have, are they relying on you or are you relying on them? Or both of you are working in synergy to get results? I was with the registrar, the institute registrar the other day, and he told me something. He said, at least if you don't have, try to be friends with those that have. Okay. If you don't have, try to be friends with those that have. That statement is a very important statement and is a very strategic approach to coming out of anything that could be dealing with anybody. Okay, if you don't have money, you don't have influence, you don't have power, just try to be friends with those that have. So that in time of when the issue will arise, you may not have, but you have the people that have. You use their influence, you use their power, use their riches to get what you want. All of these are strategic approaches, be it in business or personal life. Okay, and you must learn to employ effective strategies in managing both projects and personal life and businesses. All right. Okay. Now, leadership skills. Yes, there's several things about leadership skills, but I think we have already established that with certain examples we give. Okay. We are about rounding up now. Yeah, we're approaching 5 o'clock. Now, before we proceed, can we please take 2 minutes break? Just, okay, 1 minute. Please just stretch out, stand up, stretch out, and then we'll be back. Stand up, stretch out, and then we'll be back. Just 1 minute. Thank you. His Excellency, you don't want to stretch up?
Yeah, I actually stood up just to ease myself just before you called for that 1 minute break.
Okay. All right, so we are welcome back. We are gradually rounding up for today. At least I'll be very grateful today that we are rounding up Project Management Foundation. And then by next week, we will begin with the knowledge areas. And then we'll start looking at them. Okay. Okay, so we have project management processes. Now, if you look at how we've moved from projects to, okay, we started with project, then we came down to phases. We looked at life cycles. Now we're looking at the processes, all right? Okay, so we have the project processes, we have the process groups, we have the process interactions, and we have the mapping of a project. Mapping of project management processes. Now let's look at what each of them tries to give us. A project management process is a series of interrelated actions and activities that are performed to achieve a specified set of products, results, or services, or generally called deliverables. So just like we tried to explain that a phase contains processes. Okay, so these processes are what we now look at in a phase as, okay, this phase will give this result or this product or this service. Then these are the processes that we give, or the series of activities that we give this product or result. And we are definite about it. Okay, that's what we are looking at. Now, we have a recent edition of project management process, which is the 7th edition. And at the moment, I may not be able to say exactly how many project management processes are there. But prior to the 7th edition, we have 49 project management processes. And we are going to look at all of the 49. And if there are new inclusions, we'll find them and also study them alongside. Okay. If there are new inclusions to the 49, we'll find them and then find them and include them and then study them. All right. So project management is accomplished through these processes. Okay. Now, when you get to the knowledge areas, as of the 6th edition, we have 10 knowledge areas. Now, each of these knowledge areas have their own processes. It is the summation of all the processes that give you the totality of the project management processes involved in any given project or the likes. Now, we have the project processes, their categories. we have project management processes, and then we have the product-oriented processes. Just as they sound, or as they imply, project management processes, they describe, organize, and complete the project or the work of a project, while that of a product specifies and creates the project's product. Okay? Why the project management process is defining the work to be done of a project. The product is defining the project's product. The project's product. So I want to produce table water. The project of table water will tell us, describe how to produce table water, or describe how to carry out, first of all, initiate the project of table water production, organize this project, and then complete the work. Now, note, it does not really give us the operations, right? But the product now specifies and creates the project product in such a way that it specifies the operation that will be carried out even after the project is completed. Okay. Now, for the process groups, we have 5 process groups. We have the initiating process group, which defines and authorizes the project or a project phase. Then we have the planning process group, which defines and refines objectives and plans the course of action required to attain the objective and scope. Then we have the executing process group, which integrates people and resources to carry out the project management plan for the project. Then we have the monitoring and control process group, which measures and monitors progress to identify if the correction action can be taken to meet project objectives. And then we have closing process group, which formalizes acceptance of product, services, or results and brings the project or project phase to an orderly end. Now, going back, we have the initiating process group, initiating that ideation stage, conceptualization stage of the project. And then we come up with the business case. We've done the feasibility study. We've established the sustainability and the impact analysis of the project. Then we can say, okay, this project is viable. Then we can initiate it. And then from initiating it, we now come down to planning how to execute the project, Okay. And then from planning, we now have a project management plan, which will guide us on executing the project. And in the execution phase, we'll now need to use the resources, mobilize resources, both human and non-human, to be able to complete the project in question. Then the monitoring and control is just to make sure that whatever thing that is being done is done according to the project plan, right? According to the project plan. And then we'll have closing the project. As soon as the deliverables from the project execution is in tandem with what was originally planned for, then we can accept and close either the project or phase. Okay, and then move on to the next step. So basically, this is an example of, or this is a pictorial representation of all we're trying to say. So projects are initiated, projects are planned, projects are executed, projects are closed. But in each of these phases, monitoring and control is involved in all of them. In your initiation, you monitor and you control. That's like the discussion we're having today, talking about innovation. And I was trying to say that for innovations to drive the market, the innovation must address needs. Okay, if possible, hidden needs, awaken people to hidden needs that will promote the market faster. So if you are trying to initiate a project, you can use monitoring and control in the initial stage to make sure that that product you're bringing out, that service you're bringing out is going to serve the people. Then as soon as you ascertain that, yes, this is workable, then you can move to planning and then project execution and then closure. Now, assignment for this next week is for you to carry out a feasibility study and establish the need for the project topic that you choose. Carry out a feasibility study and establish the need for the project topic that you choose. Carry out a feasibility study to establish the need for the project topic that you choose. So if the project topic you choose or you chose is okay, do a feasibility study on it. Let's find out, is it really addressing needs? Is it really addressing problems? The problems they are addressing, are they real problems, or are they problems that will fizzle out in a twinkle of an eye? Okay. In the process of carrying out your feasibility, if you find out that your projects need to be adjusted, your project topic, please feel free, adjust it. But by all means, make sure that whatever innovation you're bringing in, whatever project you're counting on, it is going to solve a problem. So now that we are still at the initiation phase, before we get to the last one, I will not tell you that we don't know what you did do. At this phase, by next week, your first presentation begins. You're giving us, you're first of all drafting it in a report and submitting it in the Google Classroom. And then on Saturday, you're giving us that presentation to justify your business case via the feasibility you conducted. I hope I made a very loud, my pitch, I guess, was loud and clear. So your project topic, by next week, we need to look at the viability, the relevance of that topic. If it is not relevant, we'll tell you at this early stage, so that you will go and work on it. Okay, you go and work on it. Okay, so here we have this same information here is what we've just replicated here. So you have the initiating, the planning, the monitoring and controlling, cutting across all the phases, and then you have the executing and closing. Now, process interactions. We have the inputs, we have the tools and techniques, and we have the outputs. The processes interact by taking up inputs and then processing them through tools and techniques and then giving us an output. So by the time we go to each of those processes, we understand what we really mean. Okay, so there is an input, there are tools and techniques to process the input to give the expected result. Okay, all right. For instance, if we want to make more, for instance, the inputs will be, you need the raw materials that you need, and then you need a grinding machine. You need all of those other things that you need. Then in the tools and techniques, you need the grinding itself, the art of grinding, you need it. Boiling, you need it. Packaging, you need it. Those are the tools and techniques that you need. You need the grinding process or the grinding technique, packaging technique, other tools that will be involved. Then on the output, we expect more, all right? Now, this is where I will need us to pay attention to. If in the slides you've downloaded, if this one is not there, please let us know. We'll re-upload it so that you have it. In the slide in the study materials you downloaded, and you downloaded this slide, if this one, I know the slides they sent is on PDF. Okay, most of them will send slides on PDF. Now, if you did not see it clearly, call our attention. If you want to screenshot what we are doing here now, because this is where your project starts, your project work, this is where it starts. Identifying business problem or opportunity. Remember, I said that by this weekend, we are going to justify that project topic that we want to deal with. Is it really a problem? Is it really an opportunity? Okay. Please, Governor, will come to you shortly. Then after you've done this, you establish a business case. You have information justifying that, yes, this problem is really worth investing in, is really worth counting time, energy, resources on is really worth working in. Now, after you've established your business case, you undertake feasibility study. Undertake feasibility study. Your feasibility study will possibly let you know your customer segment, the desperation they have towards the product that you want to generate, the industry trends within your market, acceptance, assumptions on acceptance of the product. Now, if it is something that will involve sales and marketing, you also make certain assumptions. At least when you define the audience target, define the you define your general market size, and then define your target market size, your niche market size. That will begin to give us little clue. Then your feasibility should also tell us whether the project you're running will become a sustainable project, or you solve the problem today, tomorrow it will come up again. In your feasibility, you should tell us the process that you want to use in addressing that problem. You should be able to tell us. And then you move to establishing your terms of reference. Your terms of reference will look at the agreements, the standards you're using to carry out your project, your terms of reference. So all the methodology that you want to apply, we'll look at them. Then your project team, then your project management office, and then you perform a phase review before you go to the next one. Now, Excellency, kindly omit and let's hear from you.
Thank you, sir. I observed you said this particular material, has this particular material been uploaded? Because I didn't find it among the materials that have already been given to us in the material.
Okay, so in that case, you get the uploaded version in your Google Classroom. Maybe as soon as this class is done.
That was what I thought. I thought it is after each session that the material used will be posted there, not before.
Okay, so you will get all of them. Just pay attention to the Google Classroom. You get all of them. But in a time that is taking time to upload, please always call our attention. If it's taking time to upload, just call our attention so that we don't. Okay, so your project topic, we expect it has a problem that it want to identify, it want to solve. Follow this phase. By the time you're done with this phase, we'll be sure whether that project topic is worth it or not. So by next week, Saturday, our class might start a little earlier than normal because we may have to take the presentations either before or after. Okay, but possibly it's going to be before. As you get done with your work, upload it in the Google Classroom. The earlier you upload, the earlier I review and send you feedback so that you can still work on it and then come up with something reasonable. Okay, what is a business case? A business case represents an optimal mix of information used to judge whether the project is desirable and achievable and therefore worthwhile investing in. This is your business case. Developing a business case, how do you develop a business case? Please follow through. A detailed definition of the problem or opportunity, an analysis of the potential solution options available. For each option, potential benefits, costs, risks, and issues are documented. A preferred solution is selected and agreed on. The business case is approved by the project sponsor and funding required is allocated to proceed with the project. So at what point do we say you've developed a business case? Number one, when there is a detailed definition of the problem or the opportunity. Number two, there is analysis of the potential solution options available. Let's take, for instance, you want to develop task collection software. If you're developing a task collection software, you should be able to tell us the detailed definition of the problem. Why do you think we need a task collection software? Give us detailed definition of the problem. Then why do you think task collection software is the solution? Give us the benefits, the costs, the risks, and the issues within the software. Tell us all of that. Okay. If the benefits outweigh the cost, is an easy buy-in. If the benefits outweigh the risks, is an easy buy-in. If the benefits outweigh the issues associated, is an easy buy-in. If the benefits become lower than the cost, become lower than the risk, become lower than the issues, then you may have to defend and defend and defend before stakeholders or sponsors will begin to look towards your end. Now, for each one that we talk about, I will ask you if you understood it. If you don't understand, I will. Please, we will stop this class by 5:30 on the dot, so we will not drag it. Okay, so wherever we stop, that will be for project foundation, project management foundation. Okay, now, do I have any question on developing case study? So the guideline is very simple. What is the problem? Define the problem in detail. What is the solution? In defining the solution, tell us the benefits, the costs, the risks. And if there are issues, tell us, let us know. Then we can from there determine if it is worthwhile investing in or not. Do I have any question on developing business case? If I should proceed, please kindly type 11 in the chat. 11 is already there. Type 22 in the chat room. If I should proceed, kindly type 22 in the chat room. If you have a question, you can raise your hand. PRO will unmute you and then we hear from you. If I should proceed, kindly type 22 in the chat room. If there is a question, kindly, okay, please, Pierre will kindly unmute Mr. Anthony. Let's hear from him. Please make the question very snappy. Mr. Anthony?
Please, without offense, I had the network problem when the homework was being talked about, when you mentioned about the homework to be done. I had a network issue and I didn't actually come up.
You're welcome. Okay, we said next weekend we are dealing with the presentation of our project topics. And then we are looking at the stages involved in the project topic. So the first stage we are now is the phase of this particular project initiation. And the processes involved there is that you identify the business problem or opportunity, which at this moment is the project topic you've identified. Now, the next thing is to define the business case, do a feasibility study on that, establish your terms of reference, appoint your project team, set up a project management office, and then review. So basically, by next weekend, what we expect to hear from presenters or all of us, you tell us your project topic, you tell us why that project topic must be carried out by establishing the business case, which will tell us the detailed information about the project, the solutions available, or the solutions that you're bringing in, and then the benefits of that solution, alongside the risks, the costs, and other issues associated with it. Okay, that's where we are now before your question came in. So we have not gone far. So this is where we were. So this is what we expect from your business case. Tell us the problem. Then what solution are you bringing in? What are the benefits of the solution? Usability of the solution and other things that come with it. Also tell us the cost, the risks, and issues. Please remember that you're doing this alongside with your organization, because they are the ones that you're doing this particular project for, at least for now. So you're identifying the problem within, so that at the end of the day, when they come during your presentation, they will not say, we did not discuss this, we did not see this, and all of that. So let them be part of this whole process. They are now your stakeholder. Your project, your company is now your project stakeholder. If you're a private sector, or let's say a private individual, your supervisor or the person that wrote your referee form becomes your stakeholder in this case. Okay, let's proceed briefly. Now, what are the key things that your business case must justify? Number one, it must drive the project. That's to say that the solution you're bringing, the problem you've identified and the solution you're bringing and the other factors you're bringing in must be strong enough to convey approval for the project. Always note that if there is no satisfactory business case, there will be no project. And it must be maintained throughout the project. The business case must be maintained all through the project. Should justification, business need disappear during project, then the project may have to stop. Or at least, we don't want it to stop. That's why we are saying, do your feasibility first before you come and start doing it. Now, how do you carry out feasibility? The purpose of the study is to assess, please note, the likelihood that a particular solution option will achieve the benefits outlined in the business case. So you've defined the business case. Now you want to perform a feasibility to find out if the result of the solution will give the preferred outcome. Okay. To investigate whether the forecasted costs are achievable, risks are acceptable, and or any likely issues are avoidable. In your business case, you gave us all the benefits, all the costs, all of that. Now, in feasibility, we want to justify. We don't know how you came about that business case, but feasibility, you go to the target audience, go to where those outcomes or outputs will be used, and then justify the information you've provided in the business case. Okay, the risks, are they acceptable? The costs, are they achievable? The issues, are they avoidable? Okay. The benefits, are they achievable? Okay, like some of us used to see those things like invest and get 20% return in 24 hours. By feasibility, is it obtainable? Feasibility will tell you whether it's obtainable. What do you do with feasibility? Feasibility is simply research. Feasibility is simply research. I will take another case, or I will take the same case of task software, task collection software. Now, if you want to build a task collection software and you want to carry out feasibility, question that you might want to consider is how, what will be the response of people to having a task collection software? Is that really what they need? What will be the response of government towards task collection? The two stakeholders involved must have a feel. Now, what will be the revenue? Please, by revenue, I mean by what will be the benefit to you as the investor, as the project manager? What will be the risks involved in it? Then you look at all of those things, find out whether they are realistic enough for you to continue. Note, after the solution has been agreed, funding allocated, and feasibility performed, a project is formed. It is only after carrying out your feasibility, then your feasibility further justifies your business case, then we can say a project is formed. Now, establishing terms of reference. Your terms of reference will focus on your vision, your objective, your scope, your deliverable, your organizational structure. So when we say terms of reference for this particular project you're doing, you need to tell us what change are we expecting to be produced within your organization by carrying out that project. Then what are the tangible objectives? What will be the scope of work that will be done, including the budget and time scale? Okay, then what will be the expected deliverables, the product, the end result of the service? And then what structure are you going to use to achieve that? All of this should be fathomed as your OPA in carrying out this project, both your OPA and EF. Then appointing the project team. Who are the people that will be working with you? Now, remember, you have an organizational structure here. Now, in your project team, all you want to do is appoint a team that will fit into the structure. You get that? You appoint a team that will fit into the structure. If it is possible, as much as you can, we prefer that you get members of the staff of the organization to collaborate with you on whatever thing you want to do, so that you can easily say, okay, well, I did not do it alone. You have reference points, you have terms of reference, justifiable. And those people, it is also will be easy for them to come and listen to what you have to present. Yeah? Good. So you're documenting the job description for each of the project roles and appoint the human resource to each role based on his or her relevant skills and experience. Then setting up a project management office. You are going to tell us where your office, the project management office will take place. Is it going to be a physical or virtual office? How will communications be done? Documentations, and all of those tools needed. Need to establish those things. Now, after you might have done your project initiation processes, these are your project initiation processes. These are your project initiation process. After you might have conducted all of this, you perform a phase or process review. Then if it is approved, you move to the next phase. Okay, you move to the next phase. Okay, so at the end of the initiation phase, a phase review or a monitor and control activities performed to check now, or to ensure that this project stage or phase has delivered or achieved its objective successfully. After the project initiation process has been done and then the terms of reference or charter have been established, then you move to the next one, which is called the project planning process. Now, in the project planning process, more of what you want to do is to now plan out how you're going to achieve the business case that you've established in the initiation stage. I hope we're together. So a project planning is a detailed planning to ensure that activities in the execution phase of the project are properly sequenced, resourced, executed, and controlled. It is a means of defining and refining objectives and selecting the best of the alternative courses of action to attain the objectives that the project was undertaken to address. Note, brainstorming is a very important tool for effective project planning. That's why you will not have to do it alone. Now, after you're done with phase one, which is initiation, as soon as your project topic is approved, in phase one, then by phase two, which is the third week, you'll be presenting your project plan. Your project plan, you create a project plan. In the project plan, you have your resource plan, financial plan, quality plan, risk plan, acceptance plan, communication plan, procurement plan, contracts and contract supplier staff plan, and then you review. So let's look at each of them and what they have to say. For developing the project plan, you identify, create, and agree on a work breakdown structure. So first of all, you break down your project into phases, and then from the phases, you break them down into activities or series of activities, all right, that will deliver the expected result. Okay, the work breakdown structure, the WBS, is achieved by defining the scope of the project and breaking the work down into components that can be achieved and estimated and easily monitored and controlled. So we've established that, okay, we need to do software, task collection software. The next question is, what are the steps involved? What are the tasks involved? What are the activities involved? We need to sit down and plan them. And that's what the project plan is talking about. Allocate resources to each activity and task and assemble detailed project schedule. Now, from there, you now establish your resource plan. From the list of activities that you have to do or the phases of work that you have to do, you can ask, okay, we need so-so person, we need so-so person. Please, this still reflects back on your organizational structure that you established during your initiation phase. All right, so it involves a detailed resource allocation and assessment to identify type of resources, human, equipment, materials, total quantity of each resource type, roles, responsibilities, and skill sets of all human resource items, purposes, and specification of equipment resources. You have items, purposes, and specification of material resources also, of equipment, material, and human resources. Note, there are committed and proposed resources. So if you are going to be having committed and proposed resources, please also establish that in your plan so that we will not end up having a bloated budget. Then developing a financial plan. You need to identify the quantity of money required for each of the stage of the project. That's your cost estimation. Then you quantify the total cost of labor, human resources, equipment, and material. That's your cost budgeting. And then you assemble an expense schedule. Your expense schedule will be based on the activities you've highlighted. Okay. Then you have your quality plan. Your quality plan will define what quality means in terms of the project, list clear and unambiguous quality targets for each deliverable, outline a plan of activities which will assure the customer that the quality targets will be met. So what will be your quality assurance and quality, your QA/QA plan, QA/QC plan? What will be the plan? All right. Then identify the techniques used to control the actual level of quality of each deliverable as it is built. So you need to have your quality assurance and quality control plan. Then the next one is your risk plan. What will be your plan on risk identification? How do you identify risks? How do you respond to risks? And then how do you monitor and control risk? All of this should be stated categorically in your project plan. Then the acceptance plan. At what point, what criteria will you use to justify that, yes, customers will see this and then they will accept it? You need to justify. You need to justify that. So provide and outlines the criteria for obtaining customer acceptance. Assembles a schedule of acceptance reviews within which customers' acceptance will be sought, using an acceptance form to review the deliverables produced and level of customer satisfaction. Then the bottom line is each deliverable must meet or exceed customers' requirements or expectations. Then creating a communication plan. How do you identify stakeholders, and then how do you know which information is meant for each of the stakeholders, and then how do you convey the information to those stakeholders? So here, identify how each of the stakeholders will be informed, identify the types of information to be distributed, identify the methods of distributing information to stakeholders, identify the frequency of distribution, and the responsibilities of each person in project team for distributing information regularly to stakeholders. Then your procurement plan. How do you buy resources and raw material? How do you employ? Provide a detailed description of the products, that's goods or services to be procured from suppliers. Provide justification for procuring each product externally and not internally from team members. Provide a schedule for procurement, and then identify the process of selection of a preferred supplier as a tender process. Then identifies the process for actual order and delivery of the procured products, which is the procurement process. Then finally, we'll have the tendering process, where you identify the interested suppliers and then select the preferred suppliers based on their ability to meet the procurement needs. Suppliers are appointed and contracted through tender process involving creating a statement of work, requesting for information from each potential supplier, choosing a preferred supplier, then agreeing on a supply contract for the delivery of the requisite products. Then after you're done with this phase of planning, the main product you have here is that you have a project plan, and then from the project plan, you move on to execution. Execution is basically carrying out the project to ensure that the expected results, outputs are gotten, which involves the coordinating of people and other resources to carry out the project plan, characterized by the physical construction of each deliverable by the project team and presentation to the customer for acceptance, and monitoring and controlling of activities, resources, and expenditure by the project manager required throughout the execution phase to ensure that the customer's requirements are met. So these are basically the knowledge areas or the process, the management disciplines that will be needed to effectively execute the project. So you have the monitoring and control, where you build a deliverable review. Then you have risk management, schedule, quality, scope, integration, resource, procurement, communication, costs, and stakeholder management. We are going to look at all of this in this class. Okay, in monitoring and control, while the project team are physically producing each deliverable, the project manager implements a series of management processes grouped as knowledge areas to monitor and control the activities being undertaken. They include time management, risk management, and all of the things we've mentioned in the earlier times. Monitoring activities include integrated change control, quality control, scope change control, cost control, schedule control, performance reporting, and so on. By the time you're done with execution, your main product will be project deliverables, and then you can proceed to project closure. At project closure, we are simply formalizing what we plan for. Is it what we have? If that is it, then we can close. Else, the need for redo of the project may arise. Okay. In performing project closure, it involves a series of activities undertaken by the project manager. Basically, we're assessing whether the project completion criteria has been met, identifying any outstanding items like activities, risk issues, or resources, producing a handover plan or schedule to transfer to the customer, and then completing, perhaps communicating closure to all stakeholders and interested parties. Listing the activities required to hand over documentation, cancel supplier contracts, and then release project resources to the business. Note, these activities make up the project closure report, okay, which is submitted to the customer and or the project sponsor for approval. Reviewing project completion, review of the overall success of the project by an independent resource or auditor. Success is determined by how well the project performed against the defined objective and conformed to the management process outlined in the planning phase. Important thing to note, another important thing to note in project closure is that the project is closed only when all the activities identified in the closure report have been completed. Else, to determine performance, the following questions are asked. Did it result in the benefits defined in the business case? We are going back to the business case. Did it achieve the objective outlined in the terms of reference? Did it operate within the scope of the terms of reference? Did the deliverables meet the criteria defined in the quality plan? Was it delivered within the schedule outlined in the project plan? Was it delivered within the financial plan? All of these are the questions you look at before we say, okay, they really performed, and then we can close it. Then to determine conformance towards quality, a review is undertaken of the level of conformity of the project activities to the management process outlined in the quality plan. Note, results of the review, key achievements and lessons learned are documented in a post-implementation report and presented to the project sponsor for approval. In summary, project management is the application of skills, tools, and processes for successful execution of projects. The constraints of projects are time, scope, project, risk, quality, among others. Project management has 5 process groups: initiation, planning, execution, management, control, and closure. Project management has 10 knowledge areas: time, risk, cost, quality, communication, procurement, integration, scope, human resource, perhaps resource, and stakeholder management. A project is closed only when all the deliverables have been completed, accepted by the customer. All right. Now, before we say thank you for coming for today, any question for me before we close? Any question?